Almost every day, you can see Arthur happily running along his branch line, pulling cars of fish from the fishing village to the docks. And since his branch is primarily a fishing line, and he is usually the only engine running it, he doesn't ever encounter many problems. But one section of Arthur's line goes across an old farm crossing made of wooden planks, and in his entire time running the line, he hasn't seen a single vehicle cross it. Until today. As Arthur rounded the bend near the crossing, he saw a lorry cross in front of him. "That lorry shouldn't have gone before us," remarked Arthur's driver. "If it had gone even a few seconds later, there could have been an accident." But neither Arthur nor his crew thought much of it after the fact. Until the next day, when the same thing happened. As well as the day after that. Arthur was quite puzzled. So when Arthur arrived at the docks, he asked his driver, "Why do you think that lorry always crosses at the exact same time as us?" Thought Arthur's driver. "Well, it usually happens a bit after 8 o'clock, and I know the farmer's market in Ballyhoo starts at 8:30, and that is a farm road. They must be new vendors there." "Well, if it's going to happen every day," said Arthur, "then we need to tell someone about it." "Of course," replied Arthur's driver. But Arthur and his crew had forgotten about it by the time they arrived at the fishing village the next day. Usually when Arthur went to pick up his trucks, everything ran like clockwork. But today, the fishing boat was late, and the workmen had barely even started loading his trucks. And when they finally were finished, Arthur was nearly 15 minutes late. "Come on, Arthur," said his driver. "We won't let some tardy boat get in our way. I say if we push the speed limits, we'll be on time, as long as we don't get in trouble for it." Later down the line, however, the lorry from before was approaching the crossing. It had to stop, however, as Mavis had already started to cross with a long, slow goods train. But it had stopped right on Arthur's line. Suddenly, Arthur rounded the bend going nearly at full speed. He saw the lorry on the line, and he knew he couldn't stop in time. "No!" he cried. Crash! Arthur plowed through the lorry with immense force, leaving it in pieces. Arthur then came to a stop. His driver and fireman got out to check if the lorry drivers were all right. They were, but were far more cross than hurt.
"What in the hackenback do you think you're doing?"
said one of them. "I beg your pardon?"
"You think you and your big smoke-spewing hunk of metal have the right to go and wreck our lorry, and just look what you've done to our produce."
"Well, we're glad you're all right," said Arthur's fireman, "but you really shouldn't have been stopped on the tracks." "That wasn't even our fault. Maybe you should just learn to look where you're going," said the other driver. "But either way, know that charges against you on your railway will be pressed." "Go ahead with them," said Arthur's fireman. "They'll never go through." And they didn't. Instead, signs were put up at the crossing reading, "Warning, drivers must cross at their own risk. The railway is not responsible for any accidents caused by reckless driving." So far, vehicles have stuck to the rules, and Arthur hasn't had a problem since.